Hey, everybody, welcome to the Talking Hats HD podcast. I'm Dale, that's Harish. We're going to keep up with some NBA action here, and we're going to lead things off with the Lakers and their hire of Darvin Ham, which LeBron James announced in a tweet. I think it was last night. Harish, go ahead and give your thoughts on that, and we'll get the ball rolling and get some back and forth going here.
I mean, I'm kind of disappointed with the hire, but I'm not. I just don't know too much about him. You know, I know he was a player. He played. I mean, he was a role player that came off the bench. He wasn't. You know, I don't think it was like he was impactful in certain situations. But as a coach, as a head coach, that's a lot of responsibility. And you're going to one of the greatest franchises in the NBA, and you have one of the most hard-headed individuals in LeBron James as one of your players. How are you going to handle that? Because I would have thought they would have went a little bit of a veteran route to kind of have the respect with LeBron and say, hey, you know, we can work together, not against each other. My question is, did LeBron handpick this coach so that he can tell what he needs to do? Or was it the other way around, that he went up and said, hey, Kalinka, do something. And Kalinka was like, okay, so maybe it's Kalinka's handpicked guy, and LeBron and Kalinka are working together to, you know, these. I just don't know. I was kind of surprised. I'm kind of frustrated because I can see this team do really well. It's just that they need somebody to steer the ship. And it may not be him. And maybe I'm just disappointed in the hire. It's just you have to deal with a lot of personalities, and I don't know how he can. I just don't know how he can do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the relationship between Darvin Ham and LeBron James. I'm not sure what would make LeBron lean in that direction, outside of the fact that he has been a member of some pretty successful coaching staffs. He's been with Mike Budenholzer for Budenholzer's whole time as a head coach in the league, with the Hawks first and then with the Bucks here for the past 9 years. So he has some solid experience, and Budenholzer is a Popovich disciple. So if he's getting that kind of, you know, input and learning, if he's getting that kind of education on the coaching level, then that is, you know, that can only help him going forward. But like you said, I feel like what the Lakers really needed was somebody who will come in and really take the reins and be a leader, and not be somebody who's just a figurehead head coach. And unfortunately, as a new guy, despite the learning he's had on the job at Darvin Ham, despite the learning he's had under Budenholzer, he's new. So he's a guy that somebody like LeBron can just walk over. I was hoping they'd go out on a limb and maybe go after a Coach K, throw enough money at him that he would consider it, because you're not going to walk over him. Or like you said, another experienced coach, maybe even a D'Antoni. That would be an exciting scheme to watch there. But they made their choice. Darvin Ham in the league, like you said, he was a role player. He was a high-flying dunk artist, just a monster dunker with the Wizards. He showed so much promise in that regard. I thought he might develop into a solid player at some point. He did end up being a part of a championship team with the Pistons, but over his 8 or 9 year career in the league, he was nothing more than a bench guy. But he made the smart move to get into coaching immediately afterwards, and here we are. Definitely a big job, big responsibility. It's all going to depend on the kind of staff he can put together too. That's going to play a big part into it. And then what are the Lakers going to do with their roster? What are they going to do with Westbrook? There's a lot of talk about them moving an expiring contract to just get some pieces in return, just to move him. That'd be a big mistake. He's a great player. I'd move Anthony Davis before I moved him. If they move Westbrook and keep building around Anthony Davis, Mr. Glass, somebody you can't count on, that they will not be a playoff team next season either. I actually don't expect them to be any good next season unless they land like a Beal or some kind of superstar player, which I don't see right now. Who knows what they can pull off? Like you said, Pelinka maybe has something up his sleeve. I don't think they know what they're doing right now.
No. I mean, if Pelinka had something up his sleeves, we would have known by now. There'd
be some smoke.
Yeah.
And then an eventual fire, but there isn't really anything.
No. And that's what scares me the most, is like, usually the Lakers make a splash from time during the offseason. They always have something going on. It's just that with this hiring, is this a diversion to something else? Like, are they trying to like divert everybody's attention? It's almost like the sleight of hand. It's like, hey, we got this guy. And here's his credentials, as you stated. And then in the background, okay, let's try to move somebody to get more players in, and that would be our big splash.
Trade Anthony Davis, get Kyrie, another unreliable player, also unreliable, but him and LeBron played well together. So maybe, you know, but their result was only one ring, just like LeBron and Anthony Davis. So it might be 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Hey, all you need is one ring, man. That's all you need is one ring, and you can get anything for free.
I'd be looking to move Anthony Davis and try to get it.
I would too.
Because
I would too.
Because he still has the respect around the league for some reason. Just try to move him and get maybe like even the Clippers wouldn't do it, but like a Paul George, like somebody. No. You wouldn't do that? Who says no in that deal? Who says no?
Wow, man. Maybe the Clippers. Well, that's hard to say though.
Should say no. Do they?
No, they don't, because the Clippers have always been bad in making trades. so in the end of the day, like you're just swapping one back. Like I like Paul George like you, but at the end of the day, I don't think Paul George can fit. I don't think he can fit into that dynamic with LeBron. I just don't see that. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to play well with him. It's almost like LeBron.
The reason I agree with that is because I think LeBron would expect Paul George to take on too big of a role. Yes. I don't think Paul George is that kind of guy. When in the playoffs, when he's been expected to take a big role, he's crumbled.
Yes.
I don't think he wants that kind of pressure.
No, he doesn't. But I mean, in that aspect, if that trade happens, then the Clippers win, because Anthony Davis is the same kind of player in a bigger body. Oh,
Paul George. Well, he has an injury history too, but he's more reliable to me than, I mean, I might be wrong. The metrics might say something different. Right. I think Paul George is more reliable than Anthony Davis. I can't build around him. I don't have any interest in having him. If they came to the Wizards and said, y'all can have Anthony Davis for Thomas Bryant, I'll probably do it, but I have to think about it for a long time.
Yeah. I'm like, let me get back to you.
I'm just out on him. He doesn't
but
play.
You know what though?
I want players to play.
Actually, that won't be bad trade though, if you look at it. If
that's not something that will ever happen in this universe, maybe in another multiverse or something, but not in this universe.
Nah.
I just throwing something out there just to let you know where I stand on Anthony Davis. I'm just I want players to play.
No, that's true. No, but I mean, with his injury history, then but if he comes back strong next year, I don't think it's so, because it's.
Here's another crazy one. So here's just a crazy hypothetical. It's out in left field. Let's say the Celtics lose Game 7, and then the Lakers come to them and say Anthony Davis for Jaylen Brown.
Ooh.
Who says no?
You can't say no at that point. I mean, actually, you probably will have to, because it's almost like if Jaylen Brown becomes the Robin to Jason Tatum's Batman, I mean, you can't really give up that piece, because you're losing a scorer too.
But if they lose, maybe they see Anthony Davis as the player that finally gets them over the top. So maybe since Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum play such similar games, maybe they want to move one. And you're not moving Tatum.
Yeah, that's a tough ask. I mean, you have to really think about that then. But with the injury, see, if I was a GM, if with the injury history to Anthony Davis, you can't risk that.
Yeah, I'm out.
It's too much. I wouldn't do it. It's too much of a risk. That's a high risk to do. Yeah. But some team will take him. Some team will take.
I don't think they'll trade him. I think they're somebody they want to build around for whatever reason, even though you can't count on them.
Unfortunately, you're right, but weird stuff has happened. So I mean, so we just have to wait and see. If the Lakers want to get better, they have to do something with personnel. Player personnel. They have to do something. Well,
the team that their roster right now is fine. It's just they can't stay on the court. So if you have those guys, if you have everybody on that roster for 82 games, they're still playing. The problem is Anthony Davis doesn't play. LeBron plays half the games. Westbrook is there every night, bringing it. He misses some bad shots. He's playing.
Right.
I'll take him playing, missing bad shots. He's on the court. And he's all out effort. So Lakers fans who are questioning him, like, learn basketball. I'll take him back on the Wizards in a heartbeat. I'd love to have Russell Westbrook back. I know he's going to be there bringing it every night.
At least that's the thing that's difficult is when people say, "Oh, he's bricked this." I'm like, listen, the guy plays with
he's not in street clothes.
Yeah, but he plays with heart and passion, and you don't see a lot of players do that. No. You never see that. And the thing is, as a superstar, LeBron should take a page out of his book because you're getting paid the big bucks and you should be playing day in and day out. People come to see you.
For LeBron, I'm giving him a pass at this point. I don't like that he doesn't play every game, but he's so old that, I mean, we're lucky that we still get to see him.
Jordan played, he was like 40 something.
And I get caught up in this too. Compare people to Jordan, they're always going to come up short. Jordan was the greatest.
Course. Yeah.
So compare anybody to him, you're always going to say, well, Jordan did this. We can't compare people to Jordan.
Okay,
it's not
then
fair.
I'll say Kobe did that. Kobe played injured. Kobe played.
Towards the end, Kobe he limped out. He gave it all he had there at the end.
Yep. But he gave it all he had. That's the thing. You know what I'm saying?
But see, where I will level those comparisons though, or level that criticism is on a guy like Anthony Davis. This season, he had some tough luck injuries. That one ankle injury towards the end, I almost cried when I saw it.
Yeah,
like that was rough. But maybe if he, I don't know. He needs to do something different. Hire a trainer, take better care of his body in the offseason. I don't know if he drinks, maybe stop drinking because alcohol affects all that stuff too. I don't know what it is. I don't know why he stays hurt. I don't know. I'm speculating through my butt right now. But he needs to do something different. Like doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. I'm not even, just do something different, bro. Like I'm a fan. I want to see you on the court.
So, he was a killer in Charlotte. He was amazing. I was like,
we've given the crappy Lakers enough time here. Switching gears, speaking of player movement, like let's get into some Beal talk here. There has been some talk about him this week. Go ahead and get us going on that.
Rumblings and Grumblings says he is going to sign the 10-year for the 124 million. Is it 124? I know it's something. No. Or is it 200?
It's like 275.
Yeah, 275.
Let me look up what exactly it is, but keep going. It's something like that.
So there's been talks about him signing the extension for that amount, the max deal. I'll put it that way. I don't know how much the max.
241.6.
241. So in his move, that'll be the smart move because he gets paid. He gets paid. If he goes somewhere else, fully guaranteed, because no other team is going to pay you that $241 million. And they can't afford it.
The max he can sign anywhere else is 4 years, 179.
Yeah. So why would you? That's for a business thing. Why would you even do that if one team's going to guarantee $240 million? So in my aspect, I think I'm happy because I don't want him to move, and I think the team with him is better than the team without him. And with the pieces that they have now, I think like they're in a good position. They're in a good position. They just need a point guard. And if Tommy Shepard can draft a point guard, I think this team can be solid. They can be really solid, barring any injuries, as we all know. But I saw, because I follow Porzingis on Instagram, and he's working out. So hopefully, like, he's coming back into his playing shape and getting stronger. And he has something to prove too. I mean, he's like, I was at one point one of the best players in the league, and then a little bit of injuries happened, and then I try to come back, and then people still dogs me. But now he's fully, if he's fully healthy and fully, recovered, that 1-2 punch, man, it's going to be, with the talent that they have the talent. And if Wes Unseld can take that talent and somehow mold it into a vision of like the Warriors somehow, this team can be very scary, very, very scary. So, but time will tell.
Let's say Beal signs this deal, not and taking all ifs and buts and hypotheticals out of it, like everything, all questions out of it. When he signs this deal, within those 4 years, do the Wizards win the championship? Not if that happens or if this happens, but do they? Within those 4 years, do they win a championship? Or not even win one? Do they get to an NBA Finals?
Yes, I said it. I say yes.
See, I don't see that. I think this contract is too prohibitive. It's a supermax, which this is too restrictive. It'll be too hard to build around them. They'd have to get super lucky in the draft, which they never have. I think of a draft pick. John Wall was, I guess, for a few years a hit, but ultimately that didn't pan out because they didn't win anything. So when was their last hit in the draft? So they don't have a history of that. That'd be the only way they could really build in that regard, because again, nobody wants to come to DC.
So because the thing is, if they were winning, then yes. Like, you know what I'm saying? People want to come to a winner. They don't want to come to like a mediocre team. And DC is a fun city. I mean, we both have lived here.
It's fine.
I'm living. I love DC. I don't care what
It's
anybody
okay.
else says. I love DC.
Wait till you
But,
see. I was gonna bring this stuff to you off the show, but I'm gonna bring it up now. So we're coming there next month at some point, at the 13th, I think. So
Okay.
we're coming there. When we come back, we're looking at a house. We looked at a house yesterday and we loved it. We're trying to get it. If we
Mhm.
get it and nail everything down with that, when we come back, I want y'all to come with us and come check
Mhm.
out Denver. Stay a weekend and check it out, or whatever,
Okay.
however long y'all can. Come check it out. I think your opinion of DC will change, but but I digress. I digress.
Man, listen, I love all places, right? But DC, like, it's my hometown. I love
I
DC.
was
So
born there.
yeah.
Like lots of people live in that area, or even from that area. I'm one of the few from that area that was actually born in DC proper, and I have love for my actual hometown. But it's
I'll put it this way: DC has changed since we were kids. I will say that.
and it's
Um,
improved. I
it's
mean,
improved tremendously.
yeah,
And I'm not saying I would never love another city like DC, but there's always room for, venturing out and saying, hey, there's something better out there. Oh, there's always something better than anything else, but it's just a home. I think I'm a little bit more of a homer than anything else. So I'm just like, let's see. And my mind may change, but yeah, we'll see if that, like, if we can take a weekend and go there, and if my mind can change,
see,
that'll be it.
DC to me is like a sibling. Like I can talk trash about my siblings all I want, but if
Mhm.
somebody else does it, then it's like, hey. So I can talk trash about
Oh,
DC, but if somebody else
perfect.
talks trash about my hometown, it's like, hey,
That is a great analogy. You know why?
yeah.
Because all people from California, like, oh, California is this. I'm like DC. I'm like, okay, first of all, you haven't lived here and you haven't really seen DC at night. So don't really like because I'm talking about the monuments. I'm talking about, like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah,
talking,
yeah.
I'm not talking about the other stuff.
Yeah,
But,
that's all the monuments and stuff lit up. It's lovely. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm like, California, I love Cali too, but don't, like, disrespect another city just because you ain't from there. Like, don't do that. Like, I love San Diego, you love San Diego, the beaches are beautiful, but don't say that it's better than DC at times.
It's better
Well,
than DC.
it's
There's
better
no
than
question.
DC. All right, I'll put it this way. We
That
don't.
when Denver and DC, you can debate. You can't debate San Diego and DC. That's not a debate. That's not
That's
that's Jordan and LeBron to me.
that's Jordan
That's
LeBron.
Jordan and LeBron.
That's
Some people think that's closer than it is. I don't. That no.
No.
But
I digress on that one. That one I can do. Okay, I can see why. I can see
so
why.
let's digress back into the Beal discussion. I got
Yeah.
completely off track, but I don't want to edit that out of the show. That's good content. Um, but we've got Miami, Philly, and Dallas sniffing around Beal. If he ended up in Philly, I don't think they're any different. If he ended up
No.
in Miami, that might take them over the top. And
Yeah.
Dallas, that's exactly what Luka needs, is a guy like that. So if I'm Beal, he's going to decline the option. That's done. That's the $37 million option for next season. That's consider that declined.
Mhm.
So that means the ball's going to be in his court to make a decision. Like you said, it's hard to turn down that money, but the chance to get a ring, like, if I'm him, I'm going to Dallas. No question about it. But a
Mhm.
guy he doesn't like is there. Dinwiddie. Well, maybe that mixes that. I don't know.
But you know what though? Jordan always said this in the documentary that they had, right? He's like, you may not like me, but you can't argue the rings that you've got. You have to
I
work
actually don't
hard.
think them
So
guys could play together. That sucks, but I couldn't see that. They'd have to move
mm-mm.
Dinwiddie to get Beal.
Yeah, they probably, and in all honesty, they probably will move Dinwiddie if for a
I
Beal.
think they really like him. I think Luka really likes him.
You know, okay. I mean, but I remember him saying on the Chris Miller show that there's an expert that he was like saying that a ring is very important, but your legacy where you are is also important.
You know what I would do? This is a good trade for both sides. So this is a later question I have for the show, but it's not the same question. But there's a guy in the question, Jalen Brunson. So Dallas is probably going to re-sign him, and something I'd be interested in if I'm the Wizards is a sign and trade Beal and Brunson and Dinwiddie. Get
To have
Dinwiddie and
Dinwiddie-
Brunson come here and then let them have Beal. Brunson takes care of the point guard. That
Right.
takes care of that. And then Dinwiddie, those two can play the backcourt together. And Dinwiddie healthy, I always liked him. I always
Mhm,
liked him when he as a player.
mhm.
He said he didn't play well because he was trying to come back from the injury, and the guys never gave him a shot. I'll take him at his word because he played well here down the stretch. So him and Brunson in the backcourt, I think that's a strong team.
Problem is that bridge has been burnt with Dimwitty and the Wizards. It's been burnt.
See, with Beal maybe, but if they move
Well,
Beal, then
but what happened with Wes Unseld? He should have said something,
yeah,
but
that's
and
true.
and
Yeah,
with that, see the thing is, even though I dogged Dimwitty so much because I was like, bro, like all this stuff shouldn't be aired out because that's like private conversations. You know what I'm saying? Like between whatever. And if you feel that way, write a book. Just write a book. Play basketball. Write a book. I
the reason
understand all that.
I would usually agree with you on stuff like that, but the reason I don't blame him for putting it out there is
Mhm.
because they put everything on him. They made him look completely bad, like it was just him. But
Right.
it wasn't just him. The dude he just wanted to win. And we
Right.
tried to stand up and say something. Everybody told him to shut up. When you do
Right.
that, that means you don't care about winning. When somebody's trying to make a difference in the locker
Mm.
room, you tell them to shut up. That means
Yeah.
you're acclimated to the losing culture. You don't want to do anything to change it. So
Right. But the problem is, do we know what really? The thing is, we're
I
only
believe
hearing one
him.
side.
It makes
You
sense
believe him?
because of what I saw in the court. What he says
Mhm.
makes sense.
Okay. And maybe get back Montrezl Harrell. I like Montrezl. I was kind of a surprise trade, but
Yeah.
maybe he was a little bit off the rocker because he was like arguing with your own teammates on the court, which is okay at times, but you can't really take
He's
that to the
another
next
guy who
thing.
was passionate about winning, and some guys aren't about that. So
Yeah.
that's going to
And
rub some guys the wrong
so
way.
you know what though? Maybe what Tommy Shepard needs to do is look at the roster and who doesn't feel like winning, trade them. Just get rid of them
I
and
could
then
name some names, but I won't. Maybe on a later show. But
you can't tease that now and not say it.
maybe later.
Maybe later.
Well, to get to the question that I brought up earlier,
Yeah.
with the potential NBA free agents and Jalen Brunson and DeAndre
Mhm.
Ayton, which one would you rather have?
Ooh, that's a tough
I
one,
think
man.
Ayton is 23 and Brunson is 25.
So I would always say younger because they have more time to grow and have the better thing. But Brunson's a proven. I mean, he's proven. I mean, I mean, in the playoffs, he did what he had to do. And to be solid like that, and he can go on and start at any team. And 25 is not old, so that's only 2 years above the 23. But he's also like he can go in and give you the 20 and steady the ship. So if it was me personally, I would go with Brunson, and then that way because he has the maturity, he has the veterans, and people will look up to him and be like, "Oh, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing," and he can steady the ship. 20 and the other one, youth has youth legs, youth everything. So it's almost like, can he take on that pressure? It's almost the mental pressure, the stress. Can they go in and I think he can, but he's going to learn it over the years. So I'll take Brunson over him just because of that. Just because of that.
Yeah, it is a tough call there. Ayton, like I said, is 23. He had a great season last season. He had a great regular season this season. He kind of
Mhm.
wilted in the playoffs when they needed him to show
Mhm.
up. Not sure where that leaves. I don't know. I don't know what that says about his development. The fact that he didn't
Mhm.
show up in the playoffs might have just been one of those things. And next season will come back and be great.
Yeah.
But the problem is he was in a contract year. He didn't show
Mhm.
up. So that's the
Mhm.
time you usually do show up,
Right.
like Brunson did. Regular season, like I say, 16 points a game, but in the
Mhm.
playoffs, madness. Dude's trying to get paid, so he
Yeah.
played his butt off. Was it only because he's trying to get paid, or is that who he is now? It's a
Right.
tough call. See, Aiden
Mhm.
had back-to-back good regular seasons, and so is that enough to say that he's the choice you would make? And like you said, youth plays a role in that too. He's a big man, which is really, not really utilized in the league anymore. That kind of evens the playing field. I guess, I got two teams in the Nuggets and the Wizards. If I'm making the call for either one of those teams, I'll probably take Brunson for both of them. I think he'd be the bigger need for both of those teams. Just in general, if I'm making the call, probably still go with Brunson. It's not a center league anymore, so
Mhm.
I'll go with Brunson there.
And point guards are hard to find. Like a true point guard is very difficult to
Now,
find.
see, we're both saying this, and he'll never have a good game again.
I know.
It's just a playoff thing. He'll go back to being a 16-point a game player.
But the thing is, that's okay though. 16 points a game is okay if you can handle and dish.
That's a role player. But he's gonna get paid like a not role player because he had a good playoff. So
Right, but sometimes you just have to bite the bullet. But if that can get you a ring, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what everybody strives for, right? Even a role player who gets paid like a star, if that role player is like, because if I look at role players in different levels, right? You got those role players that will come in and be like starters. You got role players that will come in for like 15, 20 minutes and give you like good minutes. And you got other ones, those spurts, energy. That's it. That's all they use him for. Brunson is that top tier role player where he'll come in, steady the ship, and that's all you need. And if he starts, that's all you need is a steady ship, because that's how you start the game. And if that start is very, very good, it's difficult for other teams to come back, because you can take him out, you can come back in, steady the ship again. So he'll be worth his money, and he'll be worth his weight in gold if he can do that day in and day out. But only time will tell, as you say, because if he signs that contract, we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's a tough call for Dallas. I'm not sure what his contract will look like. As far, I don't know if he would get like a max deal.
Right.
I don't know what that looks like. If he's a player who commands a max contract, though, Dallas can't do that. They've got to get better pieces. Him and Luka play well together, so I want to keep him because of that. But as far as a max deal, if you're giving a max deal, I need a better player than
better player. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And if he walks as a free agent, if I was the Wizards, I would, instead of drafting a point guard, I'll just get him.
No question.
I mean,
no question.
Yeah, you have to go after him. Tommy Shepard, if you're listening to our show, I hope you do.
Which you should be. Come on.
We have some really good takes. I would go after him and say, I'll pay you 4 years, 80 million or 70 million or whatever.
If he hits the open market, there's going to be some competition. So they'll have to bring it.
Yeah, and I think Tommy Shepard can bring it. I can see his, because he got rid of bad contracts. He got he pulled. I honestly think he didn't want to pull that trigger on Dinwiddie. I think he did not want to do that trade, but he.
I think he did, and I think at the time, I think it was a great call. Like with the Nets, Dinwiddie was a good player. The problem was he was coming off the injury, so you just didn't know what you were going to get. So that was
I mean, like shipping him out
to Dallas. I got you.
Dallas, yeah. I don't think he wanted to do that, but he was forced.
He had to listen to a superstar. So
yeah, he was forced. And that
speculation. This is all alleged.
This is all allegedly.
That's what I think.
Right?
I see.
Yeah, but I think that this draft is very important for Tommy Shepard. This draft alone. Last year he picked great. Corey Kispert is going to be a superstar in this league. I'm calling it. I like them with Denny Avdia, Rui Hachimura. Those three are your core. Trade Bryant for somebody else. I'm done with him. I'm sorry. I love the guy, but he's not doing what he needs to do.
Maybe somebody can get in his head and get him to switch his game back to what it was.
It could be. I mean, because
maybe, I don't know. He was coming off an injury too, so maybe he just needs an offseason.
But when they're talking about Porzingis, because people are saying he's a legitimate 7'3". He is he's not no fake 6'10".
He's an outside player though.
He can go inside too. Porzingis
but he tends to linger outside. He's a shooter.
That's true, but that's fine though too, because if they because the thing, that's what I'm saying is they have they just need a grit player. They have all the players in place. Kuzma, we've been praising him since he got here. Maybe KCP can take a little bit of a role, but I
need his role to be smaller next season.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Not be, if he's starting next season,
we have a problem.
This team is not a playoff team.
Yeah, we have a problem with that. But in retrospect, they just need a grit player and a point guard. If they can get a point guard in free agency, they can do whatever they want in the draft, because they can get a big man, like a true big man, and make Porzingis play the stretch five and make him just do like what Al Horford kind of does for the Boston Celtics. He can come in and play that grit, or he can come in and play whatever. That's what we kind of need, because you already have Porzingis that can take you inside and out. So
yeah,
but it's going to be a fun season next year. So I forgot what else we had. I think we were transitioning into something.
Yes, we are. We are going to switch gears here into some NHL action. Since it's so brief, we can shove it in here at the end of this segment. As predicted, the Florida Panthers got swept. I said when they beat the Capitals that they were going to have an early exit here in the next round, and the Lightning took care of business, and they were on track for a three-peat here. But like I said, the Panthers suck. They're not a good team. They got lucky that Tom Wilson got hurt. They freaking stink. I don't care that they were the President's Trophy winners. They don't have any talent on that roster. I feel confident talking trash about them because they're just terrible. And they play in a terrible place too. Sunrise, Florida, who cares about that place? Horrible. Just not a good team. I'm not a fan. bad name. Florida Panthers, like pick a city, and like the Panthers, that's an overused name. Like get your act together. Anyway, the Lightning though, I have a lot of respect for them as a team. Stamkos, I'm glad to see him still getting it done. And just they're an overall solid team, fast. They're gonna win the East, and they're gonna match up against the Avalanche, who have a tough test in Edmonton. But that'll be an outstanding series to watch. Go ahead.
Whoa. Like, I'll put it this way. Like, I was so angry, like, because I was really frustrated when Florida lost. I was like, we could have done that. It's just injuries did catch up to us. It really did. And it showed too. And we don't have, the problem is we don't have that mixture of youth and veteranship. We all have veteran players and we have sprinkles of youth. And it's unfortunate. And I'm glad they lost because Andrew Brunette even said this, like, our power play wasn't. I was like, your power play never started with us, man. We are the ones that showed how to stop you. We literally showed the other teams, if we lost this series, how to stop your powerful scoring offense. But Tampa Bay, give them all credit, man. They bring it. Like man, I can't say enough about them. Goaltending wise, scoring, Stamkos still doing it. His slap shot's still doing it.
Do you remember the name Craig Berube?
Yeah, Craig Berube, yeah.
Why do you know that name?
Because he was a goaltender for the Caps back in the early days. No, Craig Berube was a fighter. Sorry, Craig Berube was the enforcer for the Caps back in the early days. He's
the St. Louis coach now. And when I was hearing that name, when they were playing the Avs here, I was like, Berube, I know that name. He used to play for the Caps. And, yeah. So he's a solid coach. They won the Stanley Cup 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, if I remember, 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, something like that.
He's solid, dude. He's a very good. I mean, because when I was a kid in the early '90s, that's all you know. If there was something like, there was something wrong, and you put Berube out there, and he would he'll handle the business. And he was a tough guy, but great coach, great coach too. The thing is, with the Avalanche, as you stated, I am all in on them. Like I'm rooting for them to win. If they're gonna have a tough test at Edmonton. Edmonton's a very tough team. I think it's going to go 7 games. I mean that's going to go 7, but I think they can pull it out. It's going to be Tampa and the Colorado, and that game is going to be whoa. If you're going to see great hockey, that's going to be a great thing if that happens. Well, I'll put it this way: if Tampa's playing what? They're playing Rangers, right? No, they're playing.
Well, I'm gonna say. So that series is going to Game 7. Hurricanes and Rangers. I'm gonna say.
Oh, they're going. Oh, dang it!
So Carolina, they've won all their home games in these playoffs.
Yes, and
they've lost all of their road games.
Yeah.
So that might give it away as to who's going to win.
Nah.
I guess I got to pick them for that reason alone. Don't really have a rooting interest. I don't, but yeah.
I'll say this,
but it'd be one of those teams against the Lightning.
Yeah, Rod Brindamore always has his team play in Game 7. They did that with the Caps a couple of years ago in overtime. I was on the airplane going to India at that time, but I was so pissed when they lost. People are like, what happened? What happened? I'm like, don't talk to me right now. I'm okay. But yeah. I think Carolina can pull it off. They had some grit about them in Game 7. So if that happens, that's going to be a tough series for them to beat against Tampa Bay. The Rangers may match up a little bit better, but it's all about Zibanejad, or that guy, Zibanejad or whatever. I call him Zibanejad because that man is a bad man. He can take over a game real quickly. So if the Rangers want to win, that's going to probably be him.
Yeah, props to the Avs who got it done last night against St. Louis. Yes. The game was headed towards overtime, and then at the end there, they cycled back and got the puck behind their net, and then just broke out on a breakaway. They had a 3-man weave going, passed it across the rink, hit it off the wall to the winger, who hit a slap shot in just past the goalie with like 5 seconds to go to end the game there and end St. Louis' season. A crazy ending because I think if the game had gone to overtime, I think they lose. I think it goes to Game 7, and I think they lose, and I think the coach gets fired if that happens. So he was coaching for his job there. Yeah, I mean, he just got extended too. But with that team, if you lose with that team, you don't get another shot. And so the players, I think, realized what was going on there. That it was slipping away, and they got it done there and didn't let it go to Game 7.
Yeah, and that's
because
what's
things were
scary
getting
about them
tight.
too.
It was full pucker factor going on
Yeah,
last night.
and that's what's scary about Colorado, though, right? Like they know when to strike at the right moment, and
Yeah, and
when
they've
that
got the
did,
personnel to get it done too.
yeah,
Solid
and
team.
yeah, and that's a back-breaking goal because with 5 seconds you can still score a goal even at 5 seconds. If but it's kind of hard if you start at center ice. But they and that's the thing that's going to be awesome against Edmonton is that it's going to go back and forth, and that series is going to be exciting. So, this is when I'm actually going to start watching hockey.
Yeah,
again.
and you should, because Evander Kane is no question one of the most talented players in the NHL.
Yes,
he's controversial. He was accused of gambling on games, something he was acquitted of. He was accused of domestic violence, again, something that didn't bear anything out.
Yeah.
He's a controversial figure. And the fact that he's black, he gets the racism stuff. So, but he's the leading goal scorer in the playoffs. Great player. And then you got Connor McDavid, a hot young talent. They played well. That was a tough series against Calgary, and they got it done. This is going to be a back and forth affair. The Avs are deep. They have 4 lines that can beat you, and then Darcy Kemper is getting it done and on the back end. So it's going to be a highly entertaining season. If you're getting in now is the time to get in. This might be the best series left. Because I expect them to make short work out of whoever comes out of the East. Even Tampa. Tampa's going to be great, but I expect that to be 4-1 if it's them. I mean, nobody has enough to hang with the Avs besides the Oilers.
Yeah, and that's going to be a good. I mean, I can't disagree with you more. I can't agree with you more. Sorry, can't agree with you more on that. So
yeah. Last mention in this segment, I meant to bring it up earlier in the previous segment, but the Celtics are 5-0 after losses in the playoffs. So that's another stat. If you're betting, you can take that into this game 7. They lost, so they're on track to win here in game 7. Still picking the Heat. So anything else here, or we can go ahead and wrap up?
We can wrap up this one.
Alrighty, like, follow, subscribe, support. We got the Talking Hats, and we're gonna switch gears into some NFL action coming up next. We'll be right back.